Today I'm going to talk about two important documents when it comes to real estate transactions. Of course, in Nigeria you have deed of assignment and then title deeds. And now, first of all, deed of assignment in Nigeria is a legal document that transfers ownership of real property. When you talk about real property, you're talking about land and buildings from one party to another, and basically is called the signer and assignee. Of course, it is a crucial part of real estate transaction and serve as a proof of what? Of title. Now let's look at the key features of this deed of assignment and the parties involved. You have the assigner, which is the current owner or the seller, and then you have assignee, which is the buyer or let's say the recipient of the particular property. Now the content of this deed of assignment are the full description of the property, of course location where the property is, and details of assigner and assignee, that's their profile. And then you talk about the history of the property, that is root of title, or you call it root title. Then the agreed purchase price, that is, they call it in real estate term as consideration, date of assignment, and of course terms of transfer, and then legal requirements must be by both parties and must be witnessed, very important. And of course it must be stamped and registered, like for instance appropriate registry. In Lagos you have Alausa, Abuja you have the Ages, that is FCDA lands. Before, the lands in Abuja was owned by other sectors or organizations, but now what the government in Abuja is trying to do is to register all lands at FCDA. Of course, in let's say in Lagos, for instance, Alausa is the proper place to check your document. And so what is the essence of this particular? This is for you to obtain legal perfection of title, that is the C of O. All right, without this deed of assignment you cannot obtain governance consent, as well as you cannot obtain what? The C of O, which is the perfection of title in Nigeria. That is the highest document when it comes to land and property. Okay, so at the beginning of the video, you remember I told you that I'm going to tell you the difference between these two documents. Of course, title deeds is just like a broad term referring to the document that proves ownership of a land or property. It confirms the legal ownership of a particular property. That's the purpose of it. You understand? And then like I've explained earlier, the deed of assignment is equally a document used to assign or transmit that ownership from one party to another. I'll be dropping a video again to tell you more about when you want to buy land, what and what you need to request, and after buying the land, what and what document you need to request. See you in our next video. Thank you very much.